So when it comes to football, there's probably three major components. 1, the player, manager, chairman. 2, the ground. We need a pitch. But most importantly, it's fans. They are the life and soul of the party at every football game and how they get behind their club. So today I'm going to look at every club and talk about their fan bases. What could possibly go wrong? Don't forget though to hit a like on this video, comment what you thought I've commented all of the Premier League fans on, and more importantly hit that subscribe button. I'm not just going to do Tottenham content anymore, I'm going to try and mix it up with this type of content. If you like this type of content, let me know below and I might do something else in the future. I have done this in no order whatsoever, it's completely random. Leicester have a very family orientated and community feel. I think that's to go down with how their chairman previously, who tragically died in a helicopter, and the one now who I believe is their son, how he's managed to develop the community, not just the football club but the community around it, and I think that really shows in their fans because they're passionate, care about their club and care about all the people that support their club. So for me, I think Leicester fan base is a very good one. Number 2, Liverpool. I mean, their motto is Scouse not English. I think that just kind of sets the tone for when I talk about Liverpool. For me, it's like they want to play the victim 24/7, even though their team has some weird partnership with the dark magic because they somehow manage to pull off goals like this. When they are in dire straits, I'm just saying. If I'm going to put my biased nature aside, let's say they do have a lot of good fans that do turn up to games. They are quite loud, and when they win something, they don't shut up about it. But to be honest, if I won something, nor would I. But yeah, I'm not a fond fan of Liverpool fans, but I shall say no more. Number 3 on the list is Manchester United. I can't not say how dedicated they are because they're very dedicated. I mean, they put a plot to kill their chairman. I mean, ever since Alex Ferguson has left, their club has been in a slight decline in performances, shall we say, nonetheless. But no, they put a plot to kill their chairman, which, I mean, quite seriousness nature, that is quite bad. But it shows that they're dedicated to the club and they will do anything to be able to turn their club around because, to be honest, their chairman is a bit of a tit. Not being biased at all, but number 4 is Tottenham. I'm not a supporter of Tottenham, clearly. They are the best fans in the world. I mean, we sing about glory, but we haven't had glory for about 12 years because the last cup we won was the Carling Cup. So, yeah, or the League Cup, as people like to say it, with the likes of Keane. Saying that, we get behind our team week in, week out. We have a massive following at away games. We're never quiet, even though the root of all our evil is Daniel Levy because he won't give us any money to spend, which is probably why we don't have any glory. Number 5 is Sheffield United. I don't know a lot about their fans because obviously they came up at the end of last season, but what I do know is what I can tell from their games at home and their away fans is that they are a very British club and dedicated and loyal fans to their club. This is probably why they're doing so well, a bit like how Leicester have done so well. Such community feel to the club and they're pushing their team on really, so credit to them. Number 6, I'm going to talk about Arsenal. When you say Arsenal, there's 2 things that come to mind: hatred and Arsenal Fan TV. Arsenal fans that aren't part of Arsenal Fan TV say that it's the root of all evil, and to be honest, it's not evil to me. It gives me quality entertainment. All of us that aren't Arsenal fans know when that Arsenal game finishes, we're straight on YouTube ready to look at the latest episode of Arsenal Fan TV. I mean, if we're going to talk about fans like in a stadium, it's a bit like a library, isn't it? It's like they've got signs saying no talking, shush, be quiet, because there's not a lot of atmosphere that comes out at Arsenal, not in recent times anyway, but then who can blame them when they're playing trash and have Mustafi at the back, the Costa. When you meet an Arsenal fan,
it's time to go!
Moving on to Man City. When I thought about Man City, I was thinking, what fans? Do they have any fans? Because as we all know, the Etihad is actually called the Empty-Had. Let's be honest. And to be honest, if they do get this thing where they have to go down to League One, I can see lots of other fans that do turn up to games, never turning up to games ever again. Attendance will skyrocket. It's money FC at the end of the day. I know they won't have much money soon when that gets taken off of them. I do know some City fans and they're all right, but we'll leave it at that. Number 8, it's West Ham, who blow bubbles, but seem to get their bubbles popped. All I've noticed them do is sing about other London clubs, to be honest. The most annoying one, obviously being a Tottenham fan, is all they do is sing about Tottenham. Whenever I post something on Twitter, it is bang! Straight in there with, you haven't won a cup since blah blah blah. But then I look at the league table and I see where West Ham are, mate. West Ham are getting relegated this season. Don't hold it against me, but we'd all love to see it, wouldn't we? Come on. I mean, their atmosphere isn't great. Then you you can't really blame them when they have to take binoculars to games to be able to see what's going on. I'm so glad Tottenham didn't go for that stadium. Yeah, if they get a big win against the team, like if they won against Liverpool yesterday, I knew they'd make a DVD about it. But to be fair, that DVD would be quite nice because at the moment I'm not really liking Liverpool. Number 9, I'm going to talk about Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace fans are a bit like European fans. They have an ultra section which looks a bit like this. To be honest, it looks crazy and it looks mad, and the atmosphere is booming on match days. So credit to them, they do make an awful lot of noise, and yeah, it's just like a European game really. Next up is Burnley. Now I found something really interesting reported by the Burnley Express. So they are apparently, according to the Burnley Express, the 5th sexiest fans in the Premier League. Reported by Burnley Express, may I add, again. And they also get really excited about hoofball, not football, hoofball. So yeah, they're an odd kind of breed. There we go, we'll roll with it. Credit to them though, they get behind their team even though they are just kicking it long 24/7. So Everton is up next. To be honest, they're not a bad set of fans, although they are starting to grate on me a little bit. This was ever since Sonny accidentally hurt Andre Gomez. Yes, it looked nasty, but there's nothing malicious in it, and now they're partying because Sonny is now injured himself. And apparently they say karma comes around. To be honest, it was a harsh tackle, but Gomez is back onto recovery. I heard the other day that he's already back into training. Not full training, but he's able to walk again, and if he seriously broke his foot, like, he's either had a miraculous recovery or, I don't know, the man's a machine. Apart from that though, majority of them are alright. Chelsea. I have one thing to say about Chelsea fans. Were you all born just before 2003, then I understand why you're a Chelsea fan. So moving on to Wolves. They are mask-wearing, crazy fans who always manage to get behind their team, which is another reason, like Sheffield, why they're probably doing so well in the league. They always manage to put up a fight up against the big teams and even beat the big teams. I'm not looking forward to Sunday when we play them. Yes, their fans are pretty decent. Aston Villa. I call these the Jack Grealish tiny shin pads man worshippers. I mean, credit to them, Jack Grealish is pretty decent. I would like to see him at Tottenham. But yeah, they do like to big up that lad quite an awful lot. I mean, he is good, but that's all that seems to come out of their mouths. Move on to Newcastle. They are run, if not worse, than Tottenham, so credit to them for sticking by their team through thick and thin. Regardless of whether they win anything or have any money to spend on any players, they are loyal fans, and like I say again, a proper British club that get behind their team week in, week out, or home or away. To be honest, they deserve a medal. Southampton. Now, as you all know, I live in Southampton, so I can't really stand Saints fans. They're basically Liverpool's one stop, let's be honest. They go there for everything, and to be honest, I'd be quite annoyed if I was a Saints fan, because I'm never going to push on and do anything because we sell all our best players. That is the reality of it. And they moan at us that we nicked their song, "Come on you Saints." We changed it to "Come on you Spurs." They do have a valid point, but when you go to their ground and start singing over the top of them, it gets a bit embarrassing. So for me, I really don't like Saints fans. Watford. Where do I start with Watford? I mean, they're right at the bottom, aren't they, at the moment? And to be honest, credit to their fans, because they still try and turn up each week and try and spur them along, but it can't be great being a fan of Watford, can it really? I mean, they've got a yellow and black kit as well, not really feeling that jam. So for me, don't really know what else to comment. We move on to Norwich. The Norwich fans came to the Spurs Stadium. I mean, they were quite vocal. They were at the bottom and I was like near that end. They were quite vocal for 90 minutes. So to be fair, that was an evening game. I think that was a Wednesday. So travel all the way down from Norwich to North London. Credit to them, and they were vocal. So not a bad set of fans. Bournemouth. There's not really many of them, let's be honest. The whole of our South Stand is basically the size of their whole stadium, so not many of them, but when they do come to grounds and they gather away fans, they are quite vocal. But then I saw this the other week and was like, yeah, that's not great. I mean, you should deserve to be relegated for that. Selling coronavirus masks with the logo on, that's pretty poor. That deserves relegation. So sorry, Bournemouth fans, I think relegation is on for you. Brighton and Hove Albion. A pleasant seaside club. Their stadium is massive. I don't think they fill it week in, week out. That's a pretty big stadium to try and fill. I've never ever met a bad Brighton fan, so there we go. Don't know what else to say about them. Yeah, don't take what I've said too seriously. It was just a little bit of a joke. But thanks again for watching. If you've liked this sort of video, let me know in the comment section below and I might give it another go. I think it's quite nice not to do Tottenham related content all the time because at the moment they are driving me nuts. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit a like, and see you soon. Laters.